Hi, everybody. It's Kathy from Departures Travel in Oak Bay Avenue here. And along with me today is Cynthia Reed from Abercrombie and Kent and Kathy Larson from Departures Travel in Sydney. Sorry, we're a little late today. We've had a couple of technological glitches, and so we're going to get started now. Cynthia is here to talk to us about some fantastic offers that her company Abercrombie and Kent has, some beautiful expedition cruising. So I'm going to let you take it away, Cynthia.
Thank you, Kathy, and to also Kathy Larson and our friends at Departures Travel. You're in great hands with both the Kathys and their teams, and I'm so honored to be invited to present this to you today. This is the first time we've put all three of our brand new Arctic luxury expedition cruises together in one show. So I hope you like it, and we're keeping the dream alive as we all look forward to traveling going forward. Let me just start by contrasting Antarctica to the Arctic, and that's a big difference because remember, Antarctica is a continent surrounded by oceans, and the Arctic is an ocean surrounded by different parts of land masses of several continents around the world. There's more than 1 million people living above the Arctic Circle, indigenous people, very ancient and modern people in Siberia and the like, and they have mineral resource extraction. There's been commerce. There are land mammals in the Arctic, none of which are true about the sub-Antarctic circle. So when you're below the Antarctic circle, there are no permanent residents except some hardy overwintering scientists on the continent. There are no land mammals, although elephant seals and sea lions do come up to rest. There are nesting bird colonies, of course, but they're penguins. And there are no mineral extraction going on. So it's a really different experience, our two polar areas and regions. And I really encourage all good travelers listening today to consider a trip to both places. And it doesn't matter in which order you go. Some people go to Antarctica first and then to the high Arctic. It doesn't matter in this day and age. So let's get going to understand what is available to us as the modern day travelers in the high Arctic, and we're going to be talking about 3 polar cruises. But first, I want to back up and just mention in this time of pandemic, why think about travel and why think about my company and something we might be offering for next year. Abercrombie and Kent has been around for a long time. We've lived through lots of peaks and valleys in travel. This is just one of those. We are in this for the long haul. We have teams all over the world. I have close to 3,000 colleagues in 55 offices around the world who will be very attuned to when their countries open, how to do it safely for all of we travelers. So we've always had a lot of high standards for health and safety. These have been adapted and adjusted for these times. We're very flexible, and we truly offer the 24 hours a day, 7 days a week peace of mind. We are the leaders in luxury travel, and we've been doing private travel, customized travel, VIP travel for a long time, along with small groups and these luxury expedition cruises we're going to talk about today. And we have excellent insurance options. So safeguarding your health on an A&K journey, this is what's been put together now for pandemic time going forward. And again, my local experts and colleagues will make sure that when people come out and travel, we're doing so safely. And Departures experts can send this to you as a flyer afterwards if you'd like. So we do have a nice book with confidence offer for any of you that want to get a trip on the books with Departures Travel. You can put a little bit money down now for deposit. And if things change next year, when we hope it's all safe to travel, you can cancel within 30 days of departure for any number of the COVID-related reasons. And your deposit or your full payment will be kept in-house for travel, good for a full year, 2022. So we call this the book with confidence, travel and peace of mind in 2021 and 22. So we just want to make it easy to get one of your dream trips on the books should you wish to do that now. So we started nearly 60 years ago with Jeffrey Kent and his parents. He grew up in Kenya. He was born on safari. He's our chairman and CEO, and he's quite the raconteur and visionary. And he's opened up the world of travel to our luxury visitors and guests. This is our full array of 2021-2022 seasons for luxury expedition cruising, including a total solar eclipse cruise next November of 2021 off the coast of Argentina. We hope to have a total solar eclipse view, and we have some NASA scientists on board to explain all that to us. So let's get now to the Arctic cruise adventures. There's 3 of them next August and September. And we'll start with the polar bears because I promised polar bears to the Russian Far East. This is the cruise August 5 to 19 if you want to see polar bears. We're going to Spitsbergen or Svalbard. These are islands north of Norway, and it's pretty exciting. We fly into Oslo, we have a night there, then we charter fly into the capital, Longyearbyen. And when you deplane and go into baggage claim, in the middle, you know how they often have something fun local, in the middle of the baggage claim is a stuffed alpha male bear, polar bear. He's brilliant, he's gorgeous, and you land and you're picking up your bags going, okay, I'm in the right place to see a polar bear. It is truly the polar bear capital, easiest place to see them, in addition to your wonderful Churchill in Manitoba. So we have 5 days here to cruise around the West Coast, which is wild and scenic. You can see the pictures in the lower left here. And we've got a remarkable team on board to bring alive what we're looking for in this part of the world. I traveled with Brent Houston, our naturalist and polar bear expert. He found 6 polar bears for Mom and me and the rest of us on our cruise. He's really a really great guy. And Dr. James McClintock is a climate change scientist and a professor affiliated with University of Alabama at Birmingham. He's written books. He's a noted expert and author and spent much of his years in academia in the polar regions. So those 2 will be the headliners, highlighters, and in addition to over 16 ornithologists, historians, geographers, talking about the exploration. We've got an explorer on board. We have a photographer on board. And these are experts that will bring alive what we're seeing every day. This is unique and exclusive to Abercrombie and Kent. We charter the ship, but then we bring on all these people to enhance the journey. So even if it's just being out in the Zodiacs, doing a cruise around an iceberg bay or looking at whales, you've got a scientist on board to explain what it is we're looking at. So we do recap briefings every evening in the state-of-the-art auditorium, and then they'll do full lectures as well. So it's having fun and learning while we're in a remarkable part of the world. And that's the way I love to learn, is in place. And so we make it a really good combination of how we cruise in comfort, but then learn as much as you want to. So the cultures and the wildlife of the Arctic. What will we see when we're up there? So this is our signature animal bringing us all into Spitsbergen. And they have signs all over Longyearbyen, the town, that you can't leave town without a gun because they're there. And you have to just, we shoot it in the air. Nobody wants to shoot a polar bear. But when you're out walking, there is a ranger at the front and the ranger at the back around us, because these polar bears are different. They're not like our grizzlies in Alaska, and they're not like our black bears in California. They're hungry and they're looking for anything. So it's pretty exciting. The first polar bear we saw was floating by on an iceberg like this, which has this beautiful walrus. And polar bear had just made a kill, so a poor hapless seal was dragged out of the water. And man, it was something. Just cruising by this polar bear with his seal. So I came for the polar bears, and I came home enchanted with walrus. Although I'd seen big elephant seals before and other seals around the world, seeing the walrus, there's just something goofy about those tusks they've got. And you just wonder how they roll around without gouging each other. So really great to see walrus, and you'll see them on this cruise. In addition, there's sweet Arctic foxes. Remember I said there's land animals, there's grasses, there's little plants, there's places for the nesting birds. There's a whole array of migratory birds like the Arctic tern, murres, the guillemots, and all manner of auklets, and just great bird viewing. And epic landscapes, this beautiful Godafoss Falls, really, really spectacular. So this is Spitsbergen and Greenland, and this is part of the Scoresby Sound in Greenland and Iceland. This is walking in Spitsbergen. I really love the hikes you could do short, medium, long hikes, more so than Antarctica. You can really do some long hikes and look at this scenery. It's really big glaciated country. It's light almost all the time we're there. So if you want to and it's safe and we're at shore, you can be out sort of late at night getting some great photography in. And with that photo expert, you can come home with spectacular pictures. And this is something you don't see in Antarctica, sweet little flowers and a little bit of growth here and there. It's real hardy plants that can live in these Arctic regions. And so you just kind of cheer for every time you see a flower or a little vegetation of some sort. And here's this really remote island that no one I've ever met has been to, Jan Mayen Island. And it's on our way to Iceland, which I think is really spectacular. And then we get to see some Greenland communities. Look at this hard scrabble scenery where the tough Greenlanders live. And they always have these brightly colored villages and homes. They use the brightest paints I've ever seen. It's a remarkable experience to visit a Greenland village. And these ladies will have beaded their own coverlets, and those are their own sealskin cuffs, and they'll have boots on as well made out of sealskin. They're incredible artisans, and they'll share some of their local foods with you, and very warm, very welcoming. So remarkable part of the world to see the east coast of Greenland on this cruise. We're cruising on this cruise as well as the other two on La Boreal. We charter from Penant. They're exquisite, luxury, small ships. They can hold up to 265 people, but will only take 199 guests, all in suite balconies. Everybody has their own balcony, and it's English speaking on the intercom. There are French speakers amongst the crew, of course, for any of you that are French speaking, but the education and intercom experiences are English. All butler service, all tips included, all onboard drinks included, all meals in a variety of restaurants, and it's just complimentary, everything once you come on board with us, all included. Even the laundry service partway through, so you can pack a little lighter. We also give the boots and poles, hiking poles and pants for the duration of the trip. That's provided in your cabin, so you don't even have to bring the water gear for getting out of the Zodiacs. And pre or post, Oslo, I recommend coming in a bit early. I like seeing where the Peace Prize is offered every year in Oslo, and it's got a sweet inner harbor, so come in a few days early and look around, or Reykjavik post and see more of Iceland. So those are pre and post, which are available to you. So let's look at our second cruise, cruising Iceland, the Faroe Islands, and Norwegian fjords. This is a brand new cruise for us. I think this would be so gorgeous to experience. Mid to late August of next year, 12 days, early booking savings if you want to get under deposit now. And this is a picture from the Faroe Islands. So here's our map. We start in Reykjavik, Iceland, and we work our way around southern Iceland over to the Faroe Islands. Again, very hard to get to. Most people haven't been, even amongst good travelers. And then we're seeing the beautiful Norwegian fjords in a luxury expedition cruise. I really like this itinerary combination, and I love that we've got an active expert with us. We call him an explorer in residence. So any of you that want to get out and mountain bike or kayak or do some serious hiking, Fionn Paul will be our leader here, and he's Icelandic native, which I think is amazing. But what he's done, which is even more amazing, is entered the Guinness World Record books with rowing, open water rowing. He has rowed across many open water, including just finished the Drake Passage to Antarctica. So he's incredible, and he will be taking anybody that wants to be active out as much of the time every day that we're on shore as possible. And many of our guests have loved traveling with Dr. Patricia Rodriguez. She's an ornithologist from Uruguay, and she's got an expertise in the Arctic birds, especially the puffins. And as well, we have those 16 other crew on board that are going to be great in history and culture and exploration and indigenous peoples. So you'll have a wide variety of lectures throughout. So what are we going to see on this itinerary? Iceland, the Faroe Islands, and the Norway fjords. So rugged isolation, spectacular scenery, unique people. Look at these Westman Islands, which are just off Iceland. So this is part of Iceland, very small population and very remote, and most people don't get here. Also, this Vatnajökull ice cap is the second largest in Europe. The only other larger ice cap is going to be featured on our third cruise, which is the Russian Far East. So this is really great in this day of climate change to see so much ice and snow. I was very happy up on my Spitsbergen cruise to spend a full 8 hours cruising along the face of a glacier. This made me happy. And here are the remarkable Faroe Islands. So very remote, hard to get to, and very special. They only have a population of 50,000 people, and their capital is 20,000 strong, which I find fascinating. The Lofoten Islands are off Norway. This is the main part of the fjord, so classic, beautiful scenery, and we're going in the peak of summer, so we hopefully get these beautiful clear sky days. And this is a little island that most people don't get to off of Norway. So rugged scenery, big country. And look at some of these amazing birds, the auks and puffins, again, yours, and thousands of migratory species nesting on these cliffs. Whales, we have a really good chance for whales on this one. I saw blue whale, the world's biggest mammal, on my cruise, and it was pretty spectacular. And we have a really good chance to see these sweet little Arctic foxes as well. And some more seals. So I never seen a gray seal, so I think that would be a cool seal to see. So here's a part of Iceland, the Vega Archipelago, and here's the capital of the Faroe Islands, Tórshavn. So there's our fun fact. You can impress your friends at a cocktail party. What is the capital of the Faroe Islands? Tórshavn, Protectorate of Denmark. And they're really well known for sheep, twice as many sheep as people in the Faroes. And we will also see on this cruise the Sami people, who are the nomadic reindeer herders, and they will show us how they use reindeer for so much of their sustenance. So indigenous people experiences on this cruise will be fascinating. And then we conclude in Tromsø, which has the northernmost aquarium, a polar museum, and is a gateway for northern Norway if you want to spend more time here before flying down to Oslo and on homeward. So Reykjavik to Tromsø, to Reykjavik, out of Oslo. And those are the pre-tour and post-tour extensions available. So this is our newest cruise, and we're so excited to offer the Northeast Passage across the Russian Arctic. We've been offering the Northwest Passage for the last number of years, and it's been so exciting to take people from Greenland all the way to Nome, Alaska, across the top of your amazing country. We've had many Canadian guests come join us. People have loved this cruise. And so now we're offering them something special to do. You could really put the two together. Northwest Passage across Canada, and now the Northeast Passage across the Russian Arctic. So it's a one-time cruise for us, August 27th to September 21 next year, 26 days. You book now, we're taking $4,000 off per person, and these are in US dollars. I would go on this cruise in a minute. Look at this map. So we will fly in, you'll fly into Oslo, and then we'll get you up to Tromsø. And this is not a map any of us look at very often, I dare say. So we start in Norway, and then we're heading into Murmansk, where we'll enter Russia. And from there, we're going to Franz Josef Land, which is the northernmost archipelago. It was kind of called no man's land for a long time, but it's under the protectorate of Russia. And then Nova Zemlya, which was a military outpost, and where Russia based a lot of their Arctic military hardware. And then Svernaya Zemlya, the DeLong Islands. A lot of this is wildlife refuge on the very top of Russia. Ayan Island. Wrangel Island is the largest colony of walruses and many, many birds there, over 400 types of plants and grasses. So it's this remarkable natural wildlife area. Chukota in Russian Siberia, and then we cross into Nome, Alaska. Spectacular itinerary. I think it'd be a once in a lifetime experience. So besides our 16 staff, again, we have these two highlight guest speakers and lecturers, a prize National Geographic photographer and a Siberian resident, Kili Yuyan, and a trained scientist and Russian explorer, Stefan Gropner. So very, very exciting people to be in the accompaniment of when we're cruising for these 26 days. So I've not spoken to anyone that's done this passage, and I think it'd be so exciting. And our company chairman and founder, Jeffrey Kent, is going to join us on this cruise because he wants to see what it's like up there. And I can say, having spent some time with him, he's a wonderful raconteur and storyteller. And so just having Jeffrey Kent on board is something. He will regale people with some of what it's been like to build a company like Abercrombie and Kent over the years. So I mentioned the walrus colony on Wrangel Island. We have chances to see them elsewhere also, and the bird population is outstanding in this part of the world. We're hoping for whales, and we know that we're going to have epic landscapes. So Franz Josef Land is this farthest north archipelago, rarely visited. Wildlife biologists and ornithologists in particular can't wait to get up there with us to see what's there. And then look at these amazing, they're called concretions. They're special boulders created by some of the glacier action. This is on Chump Island. And some of the really wild landscape, Novoya Semlaya, which is where the Russian outpost for the military was in the Cold War. Some of our walrus, which I'll tell you, just put a smile on your face. They are just the funniest looking animals. Look, that's my warped sense of humor. So we start in Tromsø, beautiful city that we showed on our last cruise, and then we're going to enter Russia here in Murmansk, which is one of their largest northern cities. And this is where they have a retired nuclear icebreaker and a Russian military museum, and you can tour this Lenin icebreaker. Think of all the spy stories we've read about or seen movies of over the years. And culturally, at the other end of the cruise, we'll see Providenia, which is in the Russian Far East and very close to Alaska, and has very spectacular indigenous people, the Yupik people that will take us out on their dog sled rides. And we're going to go to several remote villages in the Russian Far East. And beautiful people, very friendly, very welcoming and hospitable. So I just wanted to remind you that we're on the La Boreale, and it's a sleek, modern, elegant ship, and we take only 199 people maximum, all in outside suites with balconies. Everything's included, down to tips and drinks and the poles and the pants and the boots. And the big red puffy jackets are yours to keep, and the little backpacks yours to keep. And the onboard ambience is fascinating. You only get interesting travelers on these small ships. So the conversations will stay with you long after the cruise. So our staff is ready and waiting for you. And I want to thank our team at Departures Travel for inviting me on to this meeting. And I'm so happy to take any questions now, or if you need to send an email to either the Cathys, I'm happy to answer you in the next couple of days. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Cynthia. That was just a beautiful presentation. And I have to say, I did experience the Northwest Passage, and was wondering, does your Northwest Passage tee up with your Northeast, or is it in replacement of this next year?
It's replacement.
Okay.
So the last 5 years we've been operating the other way. So this year we're trying it this way. Great question.
And your comments about the walrus, I'm always amazed at the different sizes of the tusk, and I've always meant to find out if it's an age-related thing. Do they get longer as they get older? Are they really hilarious looking?
Well, I'm glad it's not just me. They just crack me up for some reason. They
They
roll
really-
around and they're all over each other. And why aren't they causing bleeding wounds? I don't know, because it just looks like those tusks would get in the way.
Just amazing. Yeah. So, well, thank you again. That was a lovely presentation, and we look forward to having you back again.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Cynthia.